Okay, here it is. 2009 Floval Flyer and landing gear fork made by SE Racing. Ordered it online from Planet BMX, who is a dealer for SE products. It's an all aluminum frame, chromoly fork, made by SE Racing. I'm going to put this thing together. This is the first bike I've built from the ground up since 1981 when I got my quad angle, SE Racing quad angle. Built that one from the ground up, and that's the last time I built a whole bike. And technology's changed quite a bit, so it could be a little different. So anyway, this is it. I'm going to be putting it together. I'm going to chronicle it on the video device here so I can see what happens, and should be a fun project. So anyway, that's it for now, and get some stuff done, tape some more later. Okay, the first thing I'm going to have to do is to install the headset. I don't have the proper tools to install the cups into the head tube, so I am going to take it to my handy dandy local bike shop, my LBS Blacktop Cyclery. Lawrence there is a really cool guy. He got the headset for me, and I'm going to have him install it. Actually install the cups. Here's the reason why. As you can see, that is part of the headset right there. This is the top part, and it's got the bearings, the cups, and those fit right in the head tube like that. But as you can see, they're not just sliding right in, they have to be pressed in. And I don't have the proper tools to do that, and I don't want to mess up the aluminum here, so I'm going to take it down to Blacktop Cyclery and have him install it for me so I can start putting this thing together. Alright? Okay, here's the next part of my project. Got to install the headset. I went down to Blacktop Cyclery in Lawrence, installed the cups for me, top and bottom, and installed the bearing race on the fork. Back in the old days, I would have just used a 2x4 and a mallet and pounded them in there. But since the frame's made out of aluminum instead of chromoly, and I believe these are aluminum as well, they can't take the beating that I used to put on them. And you know, with these O-rings for sealing out dirt and such, it's kind of hard just to pound them on there. So I had to take it to a professional and had have him do it. The headset is a zero stacked threadless headset. It's made by Cane Creek Cycling. A little different than the ones we used to use back in the old days. You're going to hear me say that a lot, but this is kind of a comparison to the way I used to do it. So anyway, we'll get putting this, finishing this headset and installing this fork. Alright? Okay, now I've already put the grease on the bearings. As you can see, put the grease on the bearings. I already have the bearing, the other bearing in the top cups. We're going to install a fork. Just take it, slide it up through there like that, and take the upper cone, slide that baby down on there, nice and snug like that. Voila! The headset has now been installed, and we can move on to the stem. Now that the fork and the headset has all been installed, we're ready to install the stem. This is a stem. Heavy block of aluminum that clamps onto the steer tube of the fork, holds all of these components together, and attaches the handlebar to the top of the fork for steering. One important component of this whole system is a star nut. This is a star nut. It fits inside of the steer tube. Mine is already installed. This is an extra. Mine is already installed. Special thanks goes out to Lawrence Blacktop Cyclery He installed my star nut for me, and he also installed the cups into my frame for the bearings. He's a great guy. So if you need anything, go to Blacktop Cyclery. So anyway, that's inside. So the next thing we need to do is we take the stem, slide it on the steer tube like that. Now as you can see, the top of the steer tube is a little bit higher than the surface of the stem. That's not going to work because the top cap, which I'll show you in a moment, needs to apply pressure. So it should look more like that, not that. Okay? So we take this off. This is a spacer, just an aluminum ring. This one's bare aluminum. I'll have a black one eventually, so it'll all match, but this is for illustration purposes. Slide that into place. Slide the stem in place. Now we have the proper spacing. You have to have a little bit below the surface. So once that's in place, you can take the top cap, which is this. Oh look, another SE item. Drop it down in there. The bolt screws into the star nut I mentioned earlier. And you tighten it down with an Allen wrench, and you just tighten it to where it's snug. You don't want to do it too tight because it'll bind up all your bearings. So you just tighten it up snug. Then once that's snug, then you can tighten these two bolts that will clamp this securely to the top of the steer tube. Once that's done, then you can put your handlebar on. Well, it's time to go get some more parts, so I think I'll mosey on over to Blacktop Cyclery and get a freewheel for my back wheel. Okay, next up I will be installing the freewheel. This is the freewheel right here. It's a 17-tooth freewheel, and I don't know if you can see, but it has threads on the inside, and it threads onto the back hub right here, and it's what drives your wheel in the back via the chain. I've already put a thin layer of grease on there. The reason you do that is if you ever have to take this off, and you will at some point, you can just, it makes it a lot easier to take it off. It doesn't freeze into place. So all you do is just fit it on there like that and spin it in place. And then as you ride the bike and you crank on the front end, the chain will continue to tighten this to where it's really snug. That's why it takes a special tool to take it off if you ever have to take it off. So that's it. The freewheel is installed. The wheel's ready to be installed on the bike. Okay, next up I'm going to install the wheel in the back of the frame. This has got a chain tensioner system on it, and I've already got the chain tensioner bolt installed in the threaded hole right in front of the dropout. That installs right there. Then take the wheel and you slide it on like that. Now with this chain tensioner system, it comes with this fitting right here. It's a washer that's made to fit inside the dropout. It's got a raised surface right there, and then this top part acts as a washer, and this bolt presses on the front of this to slide it back to give tension to the chain. So it just slides on there like that, and you take the nut, spin it on there, and then once I have the chain installed onto the front sprocket and the freewheel, then I can slide it backwards wherever it needs to be to create tension. I can use this to hold that tension in place. Then I just tighten the nuts, and the back wheel's ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to install the front wheel. I've already taken the washer and the nut off of the axle, so all you need to do is roll the wheel back and install it onto the front fork. Now, as you can see, the front axle, there's a gap in between the dropout and the lock nut on both sides. The way you take care of that in a case like this is you have to install a spacer. Okay, this spacer is 5 millimeters thick, which is the exact amount that's on either side of the gap. So all you do is take the wheel, install the spacer, the washer, and the nut, leave it loose so you can get it back onto the front fork. And then position the fork dropout with the spacer on the inside of the dropout, the nut and the washer on the outside of the dropout. That's all there is to it. Repeat for both sides, tighten it up, and you're ready to go.